As a small business owner, you deserve more. More confidence, more connectivity, more of the tools that help your business thrive. And at Cox Business, you can expect more from us. We don't just have sales reps. We have perfect plan identifiers. People who will work with you to make sure your business gets everything it needs and nothing that it doesn't. Your business deserves more, and that's why you can expect more from Cox Business. Call 800-526-8572 to switch today.
There's nothing more predictable in life than the unexpected. Lightning will always strike. Hail will fall on roofs. Fortunately, there's AAA. AAA has been helping members stay prepared for over 100 years. So when unusual storms, fallen debris, or sudden leaks happen, you'll be covered. Check, check, and check. Get the home and auto insurance you need by talking with a AAA insurance agent today. Visit AAA.com/insurance or stop by your local AAA store.
If you prefer real mornings, shouldn't you have a real breakfast? At McDonald's, we get real about breakfast. That's why you can have a savory sausage biscuit with delicious hash browns for only $1.50. It's time to wake up breakfast. Single item at regular price. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Thoughts of suicide may feel impossible to overcome. But with help and support, you can find hope and meaning. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK to speak to a counselor, or visit suicidepreventionlifeline.org. It's free, it's confidential, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And even if it feels like it, you're not alone.
It's been a long, bumpy ride sitting back in the saddle. It's time to get down, dirty up our knees in the battle. Oh, come on, round up the boys, gonna make the walls rattle. Oh, our flag is tattered and our homes are shattered, but it doesn't matter 'cause we're moving forward. Round 'em up, let's go. Round 'em up, let's go.
And happy Monday. This is your Monday evening cyber crew, Cyber Wars. This is, what am I again? Oh yeah, I'm the cyber dude. I got, my other dude, Orty, and my other dude, Stoner with me. Say hey guys.
Aren't you cyber dude Karen now?
I'm cyber dude Karen for the moment. Yeah. Okay. Because I was going to Karen the hell out of some people. I think I did Karen a few people. What's up, Stoner?
How's everyone tonight?
Doing well. You were missed last week. That was a great show you did, though.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Very, very, very good.
Yeah, I may have been a little too drunk last week to help.
Understandably so.
Hey, we could have had fun with that. Like, Orty and I would have had a great time. You I don't know so much, but Orty and I might have had fun with that.
Very true.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't have messed with you. Well, yeah, no, probably I would have. But we're really glad you're back, Jeff. So, and we got, go ahead. You were going to say something. All right. Don't do that to me again. All right. So, we're action packed tonight. Orty, start us off with your latest browser tests.
Yeah, I wanted to, I was thinking about it last week. I didn't really give Chrome a fair shake because I was running it with 2 tabs instead of 1, and whatever I happened to be on the website with those, and then the other browsers I just opened them cold and checked their process against them. So I did a little bit more scientific of a test this week where I tried all the browsers, and this time I included Firefox, Opera, and Opera GX, as well as the other ones that I had done last week. And what I did, the first thing I did was I just tried them all on Google's homepage, because that's what everybody's going to go to first. Now, when they were the active window, Brave was running 7 processes, Edge 8, Firefox 6, Chrome 16. Opera and Opera GX were both 13. So that's how much stuff they have going on in the background and the foreground to operate. They were all pretty much in the same ballpark of using 2 to 3% of the processor. And the real disparity was in their usage of RAM, with Brave on the low end, or I'm sorry, Opera on the low end using only 300 megabytes of RAM, and Chrome on the high end using 1.2 gigabytes of RAM. Everything else fell in between that. Now, that was when it was the active page. When it was just idling, when it would be like behind another window, when you were doing something else, working on a spreadsheet or whatever, just sitting there, Brave would use 0.7% of the processor, Edge 0.3, and Opera actually used 0. It didn't even have a tick. It was just sitting there, like it wasn't even open, waiting for you to do something with it. Everything else fell in between those numbers. Now, when I went to a ad-heavy website, and Red State would be the one that I would choose, because they have ads everywhere. Brave peaked at 12%, and then after it calmed down and loaded everything, it was at 0.5% of processor usage. And the ad blocking worked automatic. I didn't see a single ad pop up on the page. Edge, Firefox, and Chrome, the native ad blocking did not work for it, and I had to put in an additional ad blocker to block the ads on the page. And they were all around the same, around 10%. In loading the page of processor usage, then it would calm down at about 5%. Chrome would actually go down to 0.1%, and Firefox was the heaviest. Opera, the native ad blocking worked on both the and they both peaked at about 9%, but it took a long time for them to calm down and run to 1%.
Okay, you're roboting out a little bit. I don't see my connection going down, but it might
Lou?
be. Yeah, we're having connection issues.
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Yeah, hold on.
I'm not seeing anything on hers.
No, I'm good. I'm back. I'm good.
There?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, we should be good. I just had to do a quick little cyber magic on my end. I will go all friggin' day without a single connectivity issue, and as soon as I hit the live button, I'm going to have one within like 5 or 10 minutes. So, anyway, you came through on my end, except for when I said hold on.
Basic general browsing. Brave is the one to use. It's got the best ad blockers, the best security, all across the board. And it was very light. However, if you're the kind of person who always has a browser running in the background, but you're doing something like, you're doing something processor heavy, like gaming or working on databases, compiling programs, watching any other heavy usage, I would definitely recommend Opera, because when it's not the active window, it uses 0 system resources except for the memory that it takes to load into RAM.
Yeah, that's major.
So that's huge. And, and this whole thing started, like we said, with Edge going to Chromium, and how did it rate up against Chrome? It is still better than Chrome. Firefox isn't bad, but it's pretty meh. And Chrome is still the pig. So I feel that this was a fairer test than what I did last week. And yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you definitely gave Chrome a fair shot. Right?
Yeah, and it it performed better than my last test, but like I said, that's because I had two tabs open on it. One of them was Twitter, the other one was probably YouTube, and so that I thought about it. I actually woke up in the middle of the night thinking about it because that's what happens with me, and
Yeah,
that really
yeah,
wasn't a
one.
fair test. So I wanted
Okay.
to give him a fair shake.
They still lost. You tried
Yeah,
to help them
I
out.
did.
You threw them a bone, and they still lost.
Right. And the one thing I want to say though is that Opera, if you're used to Chrome, Opera is the way to go because, in fact, it's actually Chrome 2 years in the future. So what you'll see Google Chrome do in 2 years, you'll see today on Opera. They're an early adopter of all the things that come down the Chromium pipe. So, if you're an enthusiast or, if you just want a really familiar interface, I also recommend Opera for that too.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Well, you gave them a fair shake. They tightened the margin, right? And
Uh-huh.
I think we've got a good recommendation, especially for um to use less resources, which can be important when you're trying to broadcast, because it was definitely messing me up. There's so many, as
Yeah.
you guys have probably noticed, there's so many things that can go wrong, right? Because I'm using anybody that's broadcasting is using at least one mixer and the Spreaker deck and whatever communications channel they're using, which we use sometimes Skype and sometimes Discord, and so all of these things are taking up bandwidth and processing resources, and so many things can go wrong when you're trying to talk to you guys in chat and you also have a browser open. That's just one example of why you might want a browser that uses less processing space. So, Jeff, we had a question last week from Ron about folding at home, and I'm not even going to try to explain what folding is. I know what it is, but I know that you can explain it better than I can, and I'm just going to let you go.
Well, for those that don't know, folding at home, you may have seen for many years the SETI at home, where they would use computers, your home computer or your business computer, when you weren't using it, they would use the processing ability of your computer to help crunch data. Now, SETI recently has shut down because they have so much data, it's going to take years to process it. But the new folding at home, it's using the same concept of utilizing the processes in your computer to basically what they're trying to do is research for diseases, especially with the coronavirus. It's utilizing a lot of CPU power to try to find just drugs and treatments and anything that might work well for it. And Microsoft has recently stepped up. Now, to utilize this, you need to have Windows 10 Pro or Enterprise. But with their Windows 10 Sandbox, which is basically an app and a virtual machine that lets you play around with things that doesn't hurt the rest of your computer, they've actually enabled a script that installs the Folding at Home app and will run it when you're not doing it and keeps your system clean, which helps prevent from malware and viruses and all that stuff and really helps out. I actually use it on my Linux box. I haven't done it with the Microsoft one yet, but I use it on my Linux box late at night, let them use my processes and try to help maybe find the vaccine or something for the coronavirus and other diseases and treatments.
Yeah, so they borrow your, kind of like Bitcoin miners do, except Bitcoin miners don't ask your permission first. They just like load some.
They just grab
so,
it. Yes.
Yeah, they use malware to just grab it and steal it. But these are like SETI. They ask your permission. You can load the script, and they'll borrow a little of your processor time. And yeah, go ahead.
And if you look around, there, like I know there's one guy on Twitter. I think is Grum's a game developer. They set up groups so you can try to even join as a team to see if your team can utilize the most process, so you can have a little bit of entertainment, especially right now with the lacking of sports. Hey, maybe if I put my second computer with the folding at home to help. Maybe our team can move into that third, fourth, first place, whatever you're at, so you can get a little bit of entertainment, because we are starving for that right now.
Yeah, way back in the 90s, it was like a thing in RTP for the businesses. They set up in at support room or like in a computer lab or something. They'd set up like 4 or 5 old boxes, that were old and they were just going to get scrapped anyway. So
Yeah.
like support would like sit them in a computer lab and set up 5 boxes and like run SETI through them, and
and it's kind of
really
interesting because with this folding at home, it utilizes the CPU, the central processing unit.
cool. Right.
And if you watch any animated movie, or I'm big in the animation, creating art, that uses the graphical processor unit. So this has been something that's been well utilized for years. They're just tying in bits and pieces of the newer, faster, better GPU, and in this case, the CPU. But yeah, I mean, when you look at even some of the major films with all their special effects, they're utilizing mass farms of graphic processing units. This one is just using your CPU instead.
Right. Yeah, and it's really cool now with the coronavirus, for instance, or with the antiviral or vaccine processing that you're doing, the folding at home. Do you get graphics with that too? Because SETI had like some really cool like graphics and charts and stuff that you could actually like watch the noises come in from outer space with SETI.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I set the folding at home on my Linux box as a run and forget, because I'm not using it too much other than some behind the scenes stuff. But I haven't delved into watching any of this stuff. But you can get hooked on it, especially if you're a numbers guy like me and the data guy. It can become fascinating when you see just how much processes are kicking.
Yeah.
And if you get a team of like 1,000 or 2,000 computers, you'd be surprised how much processing data. The data crunching can just be amazing.
See, now I haven't noticed. Does it run on a single thread or does it multi-thread?
You can set it. It can. You can run it on all. Like if you have 8-thread CPU, you can run it on all 8, or you can utilize just 1 or 2 of your CPU. So even if you're doing light work, you can still have it running in the background.
See, because it just occurred to me is that a lot of the games out there still don't embrace multi-threading. They're just running on 1, maybe 2 cores, and that's it. So you're sitting there with, in my case, I mean, the game I'm playing the most right now, Satisfactory, only uses 2 threads. So that's leaving 10 threads there, not doing much of anything.
Right.
So so I can see that actually running it without bogging down too much.
Absolutely. And it's, it's amazing. It's when you think about how quickly some of the information's coming in about, hey, we may have a vaccine in the works or something of that nature. How much of it may be because they're just able to crunch the data so much better because of utilities like this. And once again, I have to applaud Microsoft for utilizing their sandbox and running this shell script to help you set it up cleanly and securely. And I know that's something we stress on a regular basis here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that distributed computing hasn't taken. I mean, because I know folding at home has been around for a little while, and the SETI at home has been around since the mid '90s.
Yes.
And I'm just surprised that distributed computing hasn't taken more of a hold in things.
100%. Yeah.
Gene sequencing, counter indicators and medication. Everything that it could be used for.
I mean, when you think about how much your computer is actually idle through the day, it really lost energy, lost effort that could be utilized.
Well, that, everybody still has the myth in their head that it's better to leave your computer running than to turn it off. I mean, now it doesn't matter anymore. It used to.
Yeah.
But, now it doesn't matter if you turn it off 5 times a day or what. So many people still leave their computers on 24/7 because of that old myth that's still in their head from back in the Windows 98 days.
Now, I will tell you this.
If you use your computer for more than 8 hours a day, don't turn it off.
Right. I will say this, though. So if, for instance, you have a solid state drive, for your security, turn your computer off. I would say daily. I turn my computer off anytime I'm not using it. It's a forensics thing that solid state drives do a thing called garbage dump. And you know how they say nothing's ever really deleted? That's not necessarily true on a solid state drive. And the garbage dump takes care of that slack space where deleted files live, and deleted files headers live. So, you know, things change, and that's something that's changed, and it's something that changed for your security with solid state drives. So you can dump old information that's been deleted that's still hanging around if you turn your computer off when you're not using it, if you have a solid state drive. I'll just say that. So,
sure.
Yeah. So that's, I mean, you know, no computer show is complete without a forensics tangent. And that was the one for this show. Sorry. Anyway, so, anywho, but yeah, so if you have a solid state drive, and if you don't, I highly recommend them. They're awesome.
Yeah, if you don't, why don't you?
Right.
Current year for Christ. Just to give you an idea, because I know all of us who have solid state drives know the difference, but just in loading Windows, from post to Windows desktop, I am 2.5 seconds.
Yep.
And that's just, I mean, I'm on a good solid, I'm on a Samsung 860, but I'm not on, a great one. And I'm not on an NVMe, so it's that fast. If it takes your computer more than 10 seconds to boot, you need a solid state drive.
Yeah, and if you have a Mac, you have a solid state drive because they're standard equipment on a Mac. But
and they're cheap now. They're just dirt cheap.
Oh God,
You're paying $1 a gig. You're less than $1 a gig now.
Oh, big time!
Right.
I just bought for my Linux box 120 gigabyte solid state hard drive. I think it was for $24.99.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Can you believe that?
RAM is actually more expensive now.
Yes, 100%.
And RAM is cheap.
And RAM is cheap.
I mean,
okay. Well, let's preface that. It's cheap right now.
Right.
As shipping gets impacted over the next couple months, and parts coming out of Hong Kong and Taiwan, and
so what you're saying?
A supply and demand issue for a little while.
That's probably true. But so when we started, I'll say this since we were going off on a tangent anyway. I'm just going to say it. When we started buying things cheap, air quote cheap from China. The technology of the other nations in Southeast Asia and that area was not what it is now. But countries like Malaysia and Vietnam and, even Taiwan, and I mean, you think Taiwan is a democratic country, so that, no, China keeps their boot on their throat and they're not, the flourishing nation that you think. So there are other places to get the things that we were getting from China now, and probably just as cheaper than we're getting from China now. So there are other places in that region. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned Malaysia, because Malaysia has always been to me the home of the fast, high quality CD-ROMs.
Yes.
Because all of them were always made in Malaysia. Usually at the same factory, the Sony,
right.
the
50 and 52 speed. Oh yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, those people can work on electronics too. The Chinese aren't the only Southeast Asians that live in countries where the cost of living is really cheap and labor is cheap, and we would pay them more than anybody else in their country is going to pay them. So anyway, and I mean, and some businesses already, some tech firms already have manufacturing, or they already have subsidiaries and things like that in that country now. Of course, I didn't know we were going to do this tangent, so I can't name one off the top of my head, but maybe that's for another show. So yeah, but that's fascinating. Both of those, the browser testing that Orty's been doing, and
Yeah, I want to follow. I want to follow up on that real quick because I just saw in the article that Jeff was referencing. There was a little side article that popped up that the new Edge, since they switched to Chromium, is now the number 2 browser on the market, beating out Firefox.
Wow.
So that was a little sidebar. I haven't had a chance.
Okay, wait a minute. I just saw that.
Yeah, it's on Bleeping Computer, Popular Stories.
Yeah.
And wait a minute. As someone who's been in IT for 30 years now, oh God, I'm old. I can't believe that statement. Just like I said, I can't believe Microsoft is doing something good with the folding at home. Right. Microsoft web browser is the second most. Okay, Ordy, I believe you. It's all CERN's fault.
Yeah, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, or you know what?
Isn't everything
Bill Gates stepped down?
Isn't
now that he's
everything
completely stepped down from the company and Gates is out, they can kind of get that boot off their neck.
Yes.
Well, yeah, and I was thinking that same thing too, but that's definitely a tangent. You don't want me to get me on because I start talking about hurricanes and shiploads of ice.
It may be the opposite Steve Jobs effect. Steve Jobs died, Apple goes to shit or shitter.
Yeah.
Bill Gates leaves, all of a sudden Microsoft can do all the things that we always wanted them to do and not just be creepy and invasive in our lives.
One day,
use the money and abilities they have to actually make life better. Computing. Oh my God!
Keep talking shit, Ordy. One day I'm gonna own that Android, and that's gonna be the last thing that you say about Apple. Okay, so we're gonna go to break real quick, and when we come back, we're gonna talk about phishing and Zoom, which, as most of you already know, is my favorite topic. We'll be right back after this Ordy music and a commercial.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is, if getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now, 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Brass knife sticks to my shoulder. Oh, babe, don't know what I'm gonna do. I see my redhead, mess bed, tear shed, queen bee must squeeze. The stage smells, tells, hells, bells, misspells, knocks me on my knees. It didn't hurt, flirt, blood, squirt, stuff, shirt like me on a tree. After I count down 3 rounds in hell, I'll be in good company. Down low, couldn't go no further. Proud of and disgusted by her. Push on, little bruised and battered. Oh Lord, I ain't coming home with you.
All right, we're back, and Orty's going to answer a chat question before we go any further. 5G us, Orty. Of course there wasn't. Yeah. Yeah, and so generally with anything, right? And this goes for every iPhone I've ever had, everything I've ever had. I'm not an early adopter, and it's not because I don't, obviously, it's not because I don't love technology. What? Okay. My bad, producer error. Orty,
Yeah.
5GS. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay. So as I was saying, the conversation in chat does not always run concurrent with the show, and
shit.
And Mudflap asks, should he be looking at a 5G phone yet, or wait? And I say, don't buy that just has to have the newest. The Samsung G20 or S20 is going for like $1,200. I'm sure the Apple is going for the same price. So unless you've just got that, stimulus check burning a hole in your pocket, you have to have
So Lou.
Yeah, I'm about to murder Discord or Spreaker or whoever or Spectrum or somebody. So anyway, hopefully that's the end. That's the end of our issues. So the one thing.
Lou,
Yeah.
Lou,
Yeah.
that anger you have at Discord, I'm gonna utter one word.
Okay.
I'm gonna mute and sit back and let you go. Zoom.
Oh, first I want to repeat what Orty said because it was funny and they missed it. Orty was driving cross country helping some friends of his move. He had just gotten a 4G phone from AT&T. They said, "You have 4G across the nation." Orty said no. Sometimes he didn't even have a signal. Did I get that right, Orty? Did we lose Orty?
No, I'm here.
Oh, okay. So I got that right. He drove cross
I lost
country.
you.
Oh, Jesus. Anyway.
Yeah. Discord's being Discord. It's all going to be part of the bandwidth shuffling that we're going to be seeing now until we all go back to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is kind of what we're going to talk about. Jeff was telling
Zoom.
me, yeah, we're going to talk about phishing first, right? So we're going to talk about phishing first, but both of these things have to do with the virus and the craziness and the working from home and all of these like security things that are popping up around coronavirus, COVID ID, Wu flu, CPP virus, whatever you want to call it. My favorite is the pinko plague, but that's just me. So there's a great article in
our good friend JD with Chinese AIDS.
Yeah, Chinese AIDS, right? Yeah, JD always comes up with the best everything. Anyway, so yeah, he would come up with the best name for this too. So, they are, and we talked about this on a previous show. There are so many COVID-19. I don't know why I keep calling ID COVID-19 scams out there. It is not even funny. From the disinformation, from the resistance trolls that we've been encountering on Twitter that are pretending to be Chinese now, right? So they're not Russians this year. They're not Russians this election. They're Chinese. So I don't know what they think they're going to accomplish by that. But
China is asshole.
Yeah, China is asshole. So evidently, right, they've also lit up the dark net. I'm not going to get into the debate about whether it's dark web or dark net, but you guys know I have my own opinion. So they are lighting up the dark net with scams, and there's tons and tons of phishing attacks, and we talked about some of those. But we did come across an article that is kind of a how-to. And we were talking about Southeast Asian countries that are as technologically capable as China, and India is probably my favorite. I'm crazy about Indian people, and I've worked with a lot of them, and they're very nice, very capable, and they're just good people. So this blog that I read, that I get some of the news from, that we talk about on here, is called News 18.
I just posted the link in chat.
Great. News18.com. This article right here will walk you through some of the things that you need to look out for. Help desk impersonations. We've talked about those on the show, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and there was one a couple of years ago that was really interesting where they were using the Microsoft built-in web-based Microsoft help chat. You know what I'm talking about, Orty? It's like
I mean, a lot of my scam all the time.
Right.
So I deal with Bob from Microsoft.
Right. So they were using the one that was happened a few years ago. They were using a like a built-in Microsoft help. They called it, was it HTML help or help HTML or something like that? It was built into the browser, right? Yeah. And this looks kind of similar, but helping employees transition to a remote workstation. That was pretty interesting, didn't you think? they're impersonating IT help desks to taking advantage of, people working from home and helping them to transition to, you know, um, remote desktop services where you can basically you open up your work computer on your home computer or laptop. So I actually have a friend from Raleigh that's working that way this week, but she actually did it with her IT people, so she's not falling for that scam. But get an email. Are you working from home? We can help you access your work computer. No, don't listen to it. Consumer relief packages. They're sending emails about to click on links. This is happening in the UK, right?
Yeah, it's their version of the stimulus. The money we're all going to be getting. The UK is doing that too, and this is the first one that started to hit. Was getting calling it consumer relief. So click on this link to get your money faster,
right?
And enter your bank account, and so then they got you.
Yep, and they're sending safety tips from the World Health Organization, or not from the World Health Organization, but they look like they're from the World Health Organization. And here's your safety tips, but it's a malicious file, PDF, and it's a phone home file. Basically, you download it, and it's gonna call a command and control server and give whoever's on the other end everything that's on your laptop, or your machine. So, yeah.
New cases in your area, phishing emails, click on the link.
Mm-hmm.
I think
that's the scariest one. I think that's sad.
I apologize the one thing in this article that really stood out to me that really utilizes how much, I don't want to say in danger daily basis, but if you're not paying attention, we're in danger, is that Google registered 150,000 phishing websites in January, and in a span of 2 months, it's now over 500,000. You have to be attentive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that. I mean, when they first get middle of February, and then there was 1,000 websites, and we were like, wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
But it's been it's exponentially been increasing 350% each month since the outbreak.
Yeah, and that's the thing that'll happen, and it's happened during other like really stressful periods like Hurricane Sandy. There was a lot, but I mean, cybercrime. The difference between cybercrime now and cybercrime then, and just the proliferation of it, is like exponentially larger. And so these guys are replicating like the friggin' virus at this point, right? Yeah, they are. They're spreading like the Wu flu.
Well, and all these scam packages they're on the dark web. It's like, okay, insert area, insert target, insert what you're phishing. It's like, okay, I want to use coronavirus, and I want to do phone scam or phishing, emails. And here's your package, and you buy the package, you trade some Bitcoin for it. Here's your Steam input package.
And I haven't seen it yet, but like if you're like me and living in Vermont, where in Walmart you're not allowed to buy seeds or other items like work boots if yours happen to break, I fully expect in the next 2 to 4 weeks you're going to see a lot more of those type shopping scam. Hey, do you need your seeds? Hey, do you need work boots? Hey, we got some gloves on the cheap. I think those kind of scams are going to be coming up in large quantities.
Yeah. Well, and so here's what was really interesting to me. The most interesting one to me was the fake product scam, where they actually and I don't know if this one worked for these guys. Like, I'm not gonna know what to think if this actually worked for the scammers, but they are looking for investors in fake products that claim to prevent, detect, or cure coronavirus.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me. Remember the that just so enraged me at the time. The like mini parachute right after 9/11 that people could buy if they worked in a high rise, all based off of jumping out the window.
Yes.
There were so many of those products. It fucking enraged me because it's like, who packed the chute? Obviously you're at a death or death situation there, but to give you that level of false hope that this may and again, somebody marketed this, somebody had to pitch this product. So
Right.
it's just so infuriating that
Yeah.
I'm
And the really interesting thing is like this one in particular, and some of the other ones as well, align with the disinformation that's coming out of China, right? So one of the disinformation points that they're doing is the fake cures, bogus cures, right? Because they want us all to die. I mean, that's what they want, right? Kill them all off, and then we just walk in and take the country and the oil that's there. So, they're trying to sell us bogus cures. So instead of taking stuff that works, we take the stuff that doesn't work, and we all die. Which, sorry guys, but it doesn't actually kill us all. And then the you already talked about that one. So I mean, it's just it's absolutely nuts. So this is a list of a lot, but hello? Okay, that is because I said I was going to murder the internet. Are you back with me, guys? Orty? All right.
I'm here.
Okay, cool. So I'm
Okay.
gonna. All right, I think I've got everybody now. So, yeah,
We're hearing the national anthem.
it will.
Oh, there we go.
We'll be back. So I will not ever say that I'm going to murder the internet ever again, and I'm not really going to murder you, internet. I'm sorry I said that. So, anywho,
So if you do happen to have a Clinton, an Arkansas,
right?
The new Amazon Clinton device, don't you?
yeah.
Oh, they have one of those? Yeah, no, I didn't hear that. So, on to Zoom. Oh no, one other thing I wanted one other thing I wanted to say. I'm sorry, Jeff, I keep doing that to you. One other thing I wanted to say.
I want to rile you up and go zoom.
I know. You've
Now you're
seen
gonna
me
get
do
the
that.
Mazda commercial stuck in my head.
So, be very careful. If you see in an email a .gov address and you think that this is legit, make sure when you click that link that it actually goes to a legitimate, it should be hhs.gov, it should be irs.gov. Make sure, and it's not irs.u.gov, or, well, it wouldn't be .gov because that's kind of hard to do. So .gov.com. So just be very careful when you're clicking links.
It's like we always tell you, hover over the link before clicking it.
Yeah, that's the best thing to do.
It
you
just
can do that.
shows up in your inbox. Hover over the link, because when you hover over it, it doesn't matter whether you're using, an email client or web-based email. When you hover over that link, it will give you the URL.
And if I can add, look, with a number of people staying at home, we're tired, we're not sleeping well.
Right.
Mistakes will happen.
We're grumpy.
Try to do your due diligence and just be careful. Just keep an eye out. It may happen, it may not. You may be tired. It'll as much as you can.
Yeah, do everything you can. Do everything you can to protect your machine, because on your machine there's your stuff. And that's
if you're not running anything else, run Windows Defender.
Yes. And as you know, we like malware bites. Now, to make Jeff happy, let's move on to Zoom.
Zoom.
If you have not seen me going off about Zoom on Twitter, then you don't follow me on Twitter, because I do it how often, fellas?
Every 5 minutes.
Well, yeah, I figured. See, that's why I asked, because I knew Jeff was going to give an answer like that.
I've been waiting on this.
It's not literally every 5 minutes. It just feels that way to Jeff sometimes. But yeah, so Zoom is.
Hey, Lou?
Yeah?
Lou, have you heard of Zoom?
Okay, so almost a year ago, I was working with a client, and his favorite teleconferencing was Zoom. I had used it once, maybe, I don't know how long ago, but an app like that, if somebody wants me to use it, I'll put it on my iPad, and then I'll delete it as soon as we're done. Right? Well, this guy we're having like 2 or 3 teleconferences a week. And his favorite teleconferencing tool is Zoom. So, I told him, I don't like this tool. Here's why. This is a year ago. Here's why. Here's another exploit. This was like maybe the third at that time. Here's another exploit. Here's another exploit. And they just keep coming, right? So I'm working with this guy, and like every 2 days I'm having to load that app again, and then delete it again, and then load it again, and then delete it again, because I wasn't keeping it on my machine, right? So I didn't have an account. The only accounts that I had were on his side, and I don't know why it just started over. Like, did we shut down? Okay, if you can hear me, just ignore what I just said.
Yeah, I can.
Okay, yeah,
You're coming back in. You're fading.
Well, it sounded like in my ear where I'm listening to the broadcast that we just like cut out, but it looks fine on the deck, so hopefully everybody can hear us. So, roll forward to when the first shutdown happened, and everybody has to leave work, go home, work from home. Everybody in the friggin' world is using Zoom. And who lost her shit? I lost my shit. I absolutely could not believe the people in the security industry that are using this tool and talking about, posting their Zoom backgrounds. I love you guys. Like, as an industry goes, they are the nicest friggin' people that nobody ever sees each other in person or really talks to each other unless you go to a conference, because that's what geeks are like, right? We're all pretty much hidden away in a dark room in our house somewhere. But online, they're like super nice people. But
have you read my Twitter?
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. So, they're using this product that's like Chinese Swiss cheese, right? So, and if you look up their filing, they are, I believe they're registered, of course, in Delaware. Their air quote headquarters address is in Santa Clara, California. But but they're a subsidiary of a Chinese company.
Oh, sure.
Right? So this is what Tucker actually had them. Tucker Carlson did this story on his show tonight, right? I'm watching Tucker getting ready to do the show, and he's doing Zoom. I was like, sweet, right? So, they have had exploit after exploit after exploit after exploit, starting prior to last summer when somebody made me use them for the first time. So it's been ongoing for a year. Some of them they've fixed, maybe-ish. One that occurred last summer, which was like in August, I think, they actually said, well, everybody does that. That was their answer to the exploit, and the exploit was that it's the same thing that came back up again in the past few weeks, was that someone could hijack your your teleconference, and the other one was that it opens the socket to Zoom that never closes. That your connection to them is open all the time as long as you have that app on it. This is why, I constantly deleted the app, because it's whatever it's on, it's open all the time. Now, if you're using it on a Mac product, it's sandboxed. So it can't, unless you give it special access, unless you, in the security settings, go to that app and say, you have access to everything on my computer. It doesn't have access to all those other things. It can't access all your video files or anything like that. But on a Windows machine, it could. So Zoom is a problem. It's always been a problem, and I cannot believe.
But wait, it gets better.
Yeah, go for it.
Now, how much would you pay?
Now, you not only have Zoom with all its internal problems, you have malware disguised as Zoom.
Oh yeah, exactly. But let's talk. Let's say what. Well, yeah, exactly. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's talk about that first. So not only is Zoom Chinese Swiss cheese, but Jeff comes up with this PSA from Bleeping Computer. Zoom installers being used to distribute fake Zoom installers. Hey.
Kinda. Hey.
Hey, okay. Yeah, I need you to start over.
Wait, what?
I need Orty to start over from where he started talking, because we got kicked out of Spreaker.
You actually disconnected from Discord.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. All right. Let me know when to go.
Okay, go now. Okay, I spoke too soon. You there, Orty? Jesus fucking Christ. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and hope that Orty comes back in a minute, because I made the internet very angry, and guaranteed I won't do that again. So did you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You can start over what you were saying, because it keeps kicking us off.
Right. Damn. Delaware side.
Yes, exactly.
So I was actually, before the I was going to talk about this as a protecting you from you thing with Adobe Acrobat downloads, to make sure you're getting them from actually Adobe, because tax season is one of my busiest times of the year, not because I have anything to do with taxes, but because everybody goes and downloads their PDF, and they don't really pay attention to where they get it from. This is the same thing with Zoom is doing now, where a whole bunch of shady people are putting a legitimate copy of Zoom and bundling it with all kinds of malware.
Zoom is asshole.
Zoom is asshole.
Zoom
This
is asshole.
isn't Zoom's fault. This is just, but
no, it's good advice.
If you have to use the software, and I'll say this for any software, because anything that has a free version out there, you can get a shady copy. If you ever wondered where those 1,000 toolbars ended up on your computer, that's because you downloaded something from a non-legit site.
Yep. Exactly.
Or you got yourself some jinky software to begin. And because it's like I've talked about in the past, that we get lazy and it's just like, God, I just want to view my taxes. Yes. Okay. You just start clicking okay to everything, and then you have a new weather toolbar on your browser and a new shopping toolbar.
And like I said earlier, especially during this time, we are not as attentive as maybe we normally are, because we are on the internet so much more.
It's funny. We have all the time in the world now, and yet we're more impatient than we usually are.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're grumpy, and not for nothing either. Like it's okay to be grumpy. If you aren't grumpy, then something's probably wrong with you. If you aren't grumpy at least some time, right? If you're not a few hours a day, at least a little bit grumpy, then I don't know. Maybe I need to live in your head because I sure am. Um,
Yeah, I don't have that problem.
right, exactly.
I already have
You
enough
don't.
voices in my head.
I'm sure you don't, Orty. So, but here's the thing about Zoom. This is the thing that really set me off, right? And Orty knows this because the first thing he said what I said when he picked up tonight was, "Can you believe that?" Fill in the blank from Zoom, so that people start calling them because now they have I don't know how many million users because everybody's working from home and everybody's using them, and uh, regardless of the fact that I'm screaming at the top of my lungs to stop using Zoom, and I'm not the only one. A lot of people know how dangerous they are and try to warn people about them, but people just don't listen. Oh, but it's cool. Oh, but it's so easy. Oh, but it's free. Okay. So anyway,
One thing. Okay.
Won't be taking advantage.
Right. Jeff's fine. I'm fine. Spreaker's fine, but Orty keeps going out. So, so the founder, so the news media gets wind of all this, and especially with the last thing that happened, because the last or the next to the last, no, it wasn't the last thing that happened, but the next to the last thing that happened, not the last exploit, but the one before that were Zoom trolls. Trolls were actually getting into people's conference calls and trolling the conference calls while these business people were having conference calls. And I'm sorry, but I did branding and marketing just long enough to know that is a nightmare for a brand that's trying to be a business brand. Like you're having a marketing team with a director or a VP or, God forbid, the CEO of a company, and you're having, a teleconference with him and he's getting trolled. That's a nightmare. And I think I'm by
Big time.
Yeah, right? I mean, it's not just me. So
I just can't even. I mean, knowing where I work, we use proprietary systems, and I'm glad for that. But I can't even imagine sitting in a conference call and having that happen. That just shivers down my spine.
Yeah, I mean,
and you know who it's going to fall on? It's going to fall on the poor IT staff that recommended everybody.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm sorry, poor IT staff. If you're IT staff and you recommended using that.
Yeah, the IT staff say, don't use it, God, for the love of God.
I know. And I'm going to take up for IT staff or desktop support or an app support or, I don't know, maybe whoever it is in your company. I'm going to take up for them. It probably came from a marketing director. Let's use this. I'm going to have my team use this. And security probably did come busting in the door and say, don't use this. That's the way it happened in the UK. Government was using it. The Ministry of Defense and cybersecurity was the one that got really upset about it. And they were like, stop using this. And government, parliament, whatever, kept using it anyway. And they were really upset about it. So, but the last thing that happened, the thing that finally got the media's attention and that finally got Zoom's panties pulled up over their head was that someone found out, a security firm, right? So security researchers noticed that they were routing conference call traffic through, guess where? China. Of course.
Yeah, because they're running it through their servers, and but no data was decrypted along the way. That's peer-to-peer decryption. We didn't decrypt it along the way. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Right. So, right, and that's the other thing. They've been claiming all of this time that the traffic was encrypted. The other thing that the security researchers found out is that the traffic is not encrypted. So this is what came out with that one exploit, and the security team finally. A team of security researchers got on it and started looking into it, and this is what came out. Though they claimed they only had one, they only used one data center in China because they had Chinese customers and Chinese staff. That's not true. They used 2 data centers in China. Their traffic, though their teleconferences, though they've claimed that they were encrypted, are not encrypted. They are not end-to-end encrypted. There is no security there. Though they've always claimed that they're a secure teleconferencing application, there is zero security. They don't even require, the application requires no password for a team administrator. What was it? I can't think of another hole. That's the other hole. And I mean, there's no.
Yeah, well, and their reason for that was, well, we're primarily used by enterprise companies, and we relied on their security too. We didn't implement security. We didn't have to because most of our clients already had their own security.
Right.
Bullshit.
Right, exactly. And what I was telling you about the blog the cybersecurity news that I've been getting some of our stories off of is out of India, right? So that's where we got this one of those particular stories. There were a few of them about Zoom, but where we got this one was, I mean, they were kind of funny. They weren't that brutal toward them actually, but they called it a hiccup. I call it a fuck up. But at this point, after a year and a half or 2 years of just exploit after exploit after exploit, which I'm convinced now weren't even exploits, but people catching Zoom doing shit they shouldn't be doing, right? Is if you look at them, it's all about, opening up sockets to your videos that can be accessed at any time, routing traffic through China, not securing teleconferences. I mean, just leaving things basically. It's a backdoor. I've been calling it a Chinese backdoor for I don't know how long. So
these aren't bugs; these are features.
Yeah, absolutely, they're features, but they're features that don't benefit the user. They benefit the Chinese government, the Communist Party of China. So I can't even imagine how much. Because think about it: if you can sell this application to businesses, how much intellectual property can you steal?
Yeah.
So it's funny because it's so stupid. I mean, it's funny in a lot of ways, right? So the guy comes out and he's just like, "Yeah, we're sorry. We won't do it again." Okay, they didn't hear you again, whichever one of you guys was talking. I don't know if they've even come back yet or not. But I think I'm back. Here they come. There they are. Yeah, it happened again. So all this time that I've been cursing the Russians, I think it might have been the Chinese. Hell, it could be both of them. Who knows? So we got cut off again, guys. And whoever was talking when it happened, after I stopped ranting about Layer 8 conference, we're either...
Yeah, you're coming through real choppy, Lou.
Everybody...
Why don't we play it out?
Yeah, I think so too. Everybody is coming through choppy because the internet hates me because I said I was going to kill it. So we love you guys. Don't use Zoom because that's how much we love you. Thanks for tuning in. Sorry about all the technical problems, and I promise that I will never again on this show say that I'm going to murder the internet because this is what happens. So find Orty at Orty Packard You can find Jeff at Stoner Brewing Company. We'll all be on air this week, except for Jeff. I think he's off on this Friday. Yeah, we do. Jeff is off this Friday. Orty's off Friday, but he'll be on Wednesday with Politaboni. And Thursday. Wednesday and Thursday. We'll be back here Monday night, and we won't be talking about any Chinese shit. See you then. Love you guys.
Round 'em up, let's go. Round 'em up, let's go.